That's where I went wrong. You gotta line up that swirl plate, put the black cover back on, then put your gas valve back on. Hopefully, I have my camera in my cooler, so the screen's a little frosty right now, and it is humid out today. So hopefully the blurriness is just on my screen and not for your guys' visualization. We got a Burnham Alpine, a model ALP210B, manufactured in March of 21. We're here to do a full cleaning, which you can see Mr. Daniel has done several times. So I started with shutting the power to the unit, shut the gas off. We're going to crack this union, which when I was first looking at this, I'm like, how in the hell did Daniel get in here to do this? But it also gives me reassurance that if Daniel was here, there was a way it was done. But I'm just gonna have to disassemble this entire gas setup, which is fine. What I'm going to do is hold back on this so I could rotate this up, so I could loosen this, and then get the whole thing off from there. So let me get that set up. Can't stress to you the importance, from what I've been taught from Mike and watching Daniel do this, the importance of holding back on this gas valve when you're first loosening this nipple going into it. Obviously I have it loose now, where I know it's not going to put tension on the gas valve, but there's really no good way of doing it other than getting a pair of channel locks in there and just holding back on the assembly. Just set this way, you know, don't have any problems. Now, if any of you notice, this relief valve is set for 50 psi, which usually in the hydronic world is a big no-no. But the reason it's like that, from what I've read in the client's history, is because he has a monoflow system and some of the radiators in the house are very far away, so he has to have that pressure up higher to properly heat the house the way it's supposed to. So he's running it just shy of, no, wrong, about 20 pounds, which I guess once you adjust for heating the water and the expansion of it, it can get close to 30. Okay, so we're going to remove the two harnesses off our fan here, which these things are notorious for breaking and not being in good condition. I'm actually doing a lock and bar wire harness soon. Just waiting for that client to call us back. Okay, so that's disconnected, that's disconnected. Let's make sure that that's out of there. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is pop this cover off, which I believe is 10 millimeter sockets. So let me get that set up. Before I take this cover plate off, I'm actually just going to pull the flame rod and igniter. Yeah, pretty dirty. The gasket looks good, but this can get cleaned up. So just set that off to the side. This is a Torx bit. I think it's a T15 Torx bit. Which, by the way, there's a very detailed instruction manual on how to do this, which I know Mike and Daniel can probably do this with their eyes closed. This is not something we did religiously at my previous employer. We didn't work on any of these systems. Which honestly, it's the middle of summer. I'd rather learn and get this down now. That needs to get cleaned as well. Alright, now we can set up for our 10mm socket. Okay, so there are 6 of these in total. If you do it with an extension bit, that gives you some more leverage. You also want to make sure you do it by hand. Power tools are not necessary. Okay, so we're going to just set this down real quick. We're also just going to take a peek inside of here. Yeah. Alright, so we'll get this vacuumed out and cleaned up, and we'll start disassembling this. I remember seeing this in Mike's video from a long time ago about the instructions saying that it's these 6 number 25 Torx bolts. There's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm just laughing at myself a little bit. Because it's crazy how you can manufacture something and then give an instruction guide on how to take it apart, but then it's not correct. Okay, just set that down and set that off to the side. Alright, we're going to vacuum out the outside of the burner, and then we'll set this to the side. So luckily for me, since Daniel was the last one to take this thing apart, or multiple times to have taken this apart, he had marked the lines that need to get marked. Now, I'm going to find a better spot for these screws. Set them right here. Now, I just went over it to re-darken it. But his I can't talk. His existing marks are already there. No, this doesn't work that good for that. Make this a bigger one. That's gonna come off. Let's see. She's not too bad. A little bit of staining, but still decently smooth. We could just take a wire brush and gently clean this up. So let's do that real quick. It's also important to note, Daniel taught me this as well, is to cover up the opening for the gas valve, just so that you don't get any debris in there. And I'm not using any force on this. I'm just gently letting my brush glide across, just to make sure everything's nice and smooth, which it is. Okay, that is done. The screws are over there for that. This should now just pop off of here like this. Okay, let's have that lined up with those holes, which I'm just going to mark this swirl plate onto the black here. so we have a reference point for that. This isn't too bad. You could see this edge here isn't as smooth. So we'll just take a microfiber cloth and just wipe this off to clean it up. The other side looks okay. Okay, so next up is this bad boy. Okay, so these two Phillips screws come out. What I did was, because you have to make another mark, right? I have this one over here that corresponds with the swirl plate. So this mark, I put a little arrow on each end, just so I know that that mark goes with that one. Everything looks good with this. I'll just wipe the surface of this off real quick. Right here and here. Okay. Alright, so we're going to check these fan blades. Let's see how they look. Not too bad. I'll get my compressor and blow out the dust on them. Okay, so I wiped the fan blades as clean as I could. And then I blew it out with some compressed air from my little M12 air compressor. So just a very gentle once over on everything just to make sure it's clean. I was making sure to not flip anything around and mess up the orientation of where I have everything, because it can get confusing. So right now I'm just getting this back on there. It is sticky out today. I had some rain last night. I am by the ocean, so alright. That looks good. So that is going to line up there. Just like that. Okay. If you guys didn't get to see it last night, did a live stream with Daniel. My family is away on vacation. The wife and kids are gone. Yeah, something's not right here. I'm not doing this correctly. And it was a good time. We hung out, chatted with everybody. You can go back and rewatch it. It's on his channel at DC HVAC. And then you could see how silly we were. With the family gone, I have nothing to do. I'm so bored. Alright, let's see what I'm doing wrong here. And I'll fill you guys in on it. That's where I went wrong. You gotta line up that swirl plate, put the black cover back on, then put your gas valve back on. That's why the screws were bottoming out and still having like a 1/4 inch of space left. See? Same. It's easy to get yourself mixed up. I'm just bottoming out the screws right now, and then I'll snug them down nicely. Okay, snuggy. That's snug. And that's snug. See a little bit of debris on this inlet screen right there. Okay, now that that fun part is all done, next thing we're gonna do is vacuum out our burner chamber. So I won't bore you guys with the sound of the vacuum with that. So we'll get started on that, and I'll be back with something interesting to show you. Just checking in with you guys. I vacuumed out this burner chamber, and you know, I went through one by one with the vacuum head, just trying to get as much debris out as possible. Then I came through and just poured some freshly clean water inside of here, and now I'm just going over it with my microfiber towel, which is not abrasive in any way. Just kind of wiping off the surfaces and making sure that, you know, in between these slits here is clean. I'm gonna hit it one last time with the vacuum, and then we could reassemble this, take the trap off, because now all the debris that I flushed through here is in the trap, so I want to get that off so I can clean that. We'll get to that neutralizer media and you know, getting this thing back up and running. Let's see, I've been here now almost an hour, so I know it averages about 2 hours if I'm not mistaken. And I'm just trying to be thorough and make sure I don't miss anything, and I also want to make sure that this thing is nice and thoroughly cleaned. This is a, well, it doesn't matter what type of customer they are, but this is a service agreement customer of ours, and they trust us to come and do this every single year for them. So no matter what, whether they're a service agreement customer or not, that wasn't a good point to make, but just trying not to cut any corners and make sure I'm as thorough as possible. So I'm going to hit this one more time with the vacuum. Now this wire brush I did not use. I just had placed it up there before when I was cleaning off whatever it was I was cleaning off before. I don't recall now. Alright, one more time with the vacuum, and then we could put this bad boy back together. For a certain viewer that comments on every single video, especially when it's about high efficiency boilers, are you happy? Does this make you happy now? It's like, I'm sorry, I don't rely on AI or ChatGPT to tell me what to do. I go based off of what I was taught and what I was seeing, and whatever my superior advises and approves of the tactics that get used. Anyway, I got that back together. I'm just getting these cleaned up, and I'm gonna reinstall them before putting this back on, just so that this refractory doesn't move around on me and that it stays lined up. All the gaskets here, everything looks nice and clean. It's nice when you come to do maintenance on a system that already gets maintenanced regularly, because you usually don't end up finding anything grossly wrong, because they take care of it. It's frustrating when you get to houses and things have been neglected, and now it's like, you know, now it's important to get it fixed or put it back together, and it's like, you know, you had all this time to properly address things, Whatever, neither here nor there. Alright. I just uploaded a video last night of me doing the same exact thing. Just on a different brand of boiler, so I will not bore you guys with this. I will bring you back once we get this thing put back in. So I got this back on. I got both the igniter and flame sensor cleaned. And I'm just doing this just like you would do a tire in a star pattern. Alright, I had to cut you guys off just because the client came out and he wanted to show me something with his booster pump for his potable water in the house, and then we were talking and we were talking about filtration and all that fun stuff. So while we were doing that, I was just pulling this condensate trap, which I just want to rinse out gently. If I can just get this to turn on. I don't want pressure, I just want some water. No, we were talking about water filtration because where he is located here, you know, the water quality isn't the best, and he wants to put something in that, like, he just doesn't want to worry about. You know, like, he wants to just have it in and let it take care of itself, which I was telling him, you know, you can get a carbon filter that's self-servicing, you know, it backwashes, rinses itself, and all that fun stuff. It's like they're a little bit more expensive, but that's because it takes care of itself. It has a built-in computer to monitor the filter life and rinse itself out at night and all that fun stuff. And he's like, yeah, send me that, because he does a lot of work with managing properties in the city. And his whole thing is he'd rather just have a professional service things for him and not have to worry about it. Hence the reason why he likes using us for servicing his equipment, because he knows that we come in, we take care of it, and he doesn't have to stress about it or worry about it or be involved, really. Peace of mind is really what it comes down to. This thing is so annoying. They could have designed this any other way. Instead, these tension ring clips. Come on. I know they make special pliers that have like an indent in the middle, so like it locks onto this very well. All right, let's get this up there. I'm gonna get that on, and I'm not gonna drag you guys along with me struggling with it, so I'm gonna show you it completed. I need to grab more of the 2 conductor Wagos. Just have these 3 conductor ones, but I figured I'd put these in this way. In the future, you could just unclip them, make it a little bit easier to undo. So that's done, that's done, that's done. Let me get my pro-dope so we can work on reassembly of the gas now. And then we will clean out the condensate, put new media in that. Just flush out the bottom of the water heater, which you can see has a gas cock down at the bottom. Very interesting. So I'm just gonna have to put a 3/4 inch boiler drain on that, just so I could flush it for a bit. And get it cleaned out nicely. There is the gas. There we go. Talk about a tight configuration. There. Flush that out, and then we'll get the unit back up and running. Combustion analysis, high fire, low fire. It's just about 9:35. The client was talking to me though for like a good 10 minutes. You know, I paused what I was doing so I can give him my attention in regards to the whole water filtration discussion. We even spoke on replacement of his central air systems. He's got a 30-year-old, I'm assuming, R22 system, and it was leaking last night, and he found that the coil had iced over, and he took care of it himself and drained it. Alright, so now we're going to start to hold back on this gas valve. But he wants to redo a lot of stuff inside the house, and he wants to put in new systems. And he was also considering heat pumps, and I was like, huh, well, guess what, sir? Boy, do we have a system for you. I know I'm holding with my channel lock wrench opposite of the way that you would normally be holding back, but it's just because you can't really fit it any other way. Alright, let me get this squared away, and I'll show you guys what it looks like reconnected. I don't want to take it off from the whole thing. I don't have to. Looks alright. Be nice if this would open up. And that's not big enough. Of course, I put my wrenches away. The only other thing I could do is if I hold back on this, I could just spin the whole thing off. As you can see, it actually has a crack here. So that's not too good. Come on. Pop off. There we go. Okay. I'm just gonna hang there for now because I told you to. You. What the heck? Ah, that's interesting. The media, I've never seen this. I've changed hundreds of neutralizer media before. I've never seen one like this. That's cool. Like this little baggie. It's so interesting. Alright. Let me not ruin these gloves. Get a new pair of gloves, we'll rinse this out and get some new media in that little sacky. I must say, this is definitely the first time I've seen one that has, like, you know, a little sack like this in it. I get the thought process behind it, it's just very interesting. And it just slides and sits right there. Okay. That's cool. Cleaned it out as best as I could, but some of this staining is permanent. But what we're gonna do now is gently reapply some Teflon to the male adapter that's here. Did I put away my metal brush? I did. No, I didn't. Right here in front of you, James. Since this side on the neutralizer is cracked, I obviously want to Teflon it, but I don't want it to be too much Teflon because I don't want to make the crack bigger. I may be a plumber, but I don't like a big crack. Okay. These can go. All right, so the kids always getting yelled at. Happens to everybody. Okay. What we'll do, we'll just get this started on here. And then we'll just get one of these clamps on. Tight enough to where I could still spin it, but it holds up our neutralizer. Okay, so let's hold back this because obviously we don't want this to break. Try to get it where that crack is facing up. See if we can just pinch it close a little bit more. If that becomes a problem, then we'll just have to have a conversation about replacement of it. Okay, this side is good. That's on there. We're just going to tighten down our pipe clamps real quick. Okay, so next on my list is to just get my hose hooked up to this drain here so I can just flush out some of this water heater, put some of this stuff away. 5 after 10, should be done in the next 15 minutes. Because I have my probe out. That's why the O2 was so high. Like, what the heck? So right now we're in low fire. That looks good. Okay, switch to high fire now. Out of that installer mode. this out. Let that do its rinse and cycle down. Make sure I shut this battery off. Let's see, it looks like the way Daniel does it. Okay. So this is my low. And this is my high. Get a picture of that. Let's get this puppy back in here. It's nicely on there. This can come off over here. Close her back up. Once you got the cover on, it's a very quiet unit. Oh, those old wire nuts. All right, that's it. She is good to go. Pack everything up, write up my invoice. We're on to the next one. I love protein shakes. Such a nice little pick-me-up in the morning. You know, fills you up, quenches your thirst, takes good care of your body, which we have to do working in the trades, right? We beat ourselves up, so try to do what you can to take care of yourselves. But yeah, that wasn't too shabby, I think. Total time on the job was 2 hours and 40 minutes. There's definitely room for cutting that time down. Like I said, I paused at one point to just have a conversation with the customer about a filtration system, this, that, and the next. But he was a super nice guy, gave me a tip at the end. He was happy, you know, he loves using our services. He was asking how Daniel was doing, all that fun stuff. And yeah, I mean, the more I will start to do these, the better my time will get. There was obviously some mistakes that were made. You know, when I was putting back on this roll plate and I didn't have the gas valve assembly on there, like silly things like that, where I will eventually start to get second nature with it. And you know, not need to refer back to the booklet or referring back to steps. I'll just have them down in my head, just like with anything else that we do. So it was definitely a good learning opportunity. I'm happy to have gone out and done it. We were going to do it one time at the shop when I first started, but then a call came in and I never got to do it with Mike. So it's good to just get out there, do it. You know, I had the maintenance kit with me in case anything needed to be replaced, but that system is in really good condition. And like I said, the client was happy, and yeah, we will we'll improve obviously as the heating season comes up on us. We'll be doing more of these, which is fine because now it's takes a burden and less stress off of Daniel and Mike having to do them, you know, now that I could be involved in that. So it was a good time. I am now off to my next service call, which is a plumbing service call, I think for a leaking trap underneath the kitchen sink, if I'm correct. But that's where this video will end. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and watching. Subscribe if you enjoy my content and my videos, and comment anything down below. I respond to every single person, every single comment. Let me know if there's anything I missed, any tips, feedback, criticisms, whatever. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Alrighty? Take care.